Hi guys, so I'm bundled because it's 71 degrees, and for most people that wouldn't be cold, and yes, 71 Fahrenheit, but for me, that's cold, so I am like all bundled up because I'm trying to enjoy the weather because before too long, winter will be here and I won't be able to go outside for any amount of time, for very long, because I am a wimp. Anyway, so I asked a question on Twitter recently, and to read it exactly word for word, um, I asked the Asking Autistics hashtag, actually autistic hashtags, what is the one thing you wish you had known when you first discovered you were autistic? And there have been, you know, um, about 300 comments. We might have gone above 300 comments by now on that, of people just kind of sharing their experience about what they wish they had known when they first discovered that they were autistic. And there's some really great comments there, and so there's a link to that Twitter thread on my blog, neurodivergentrebel.com, if you want to check out and comment. But I thought I would make a video and share my own. So the thing I wish I had known at the beginning, and I guess, I don't think I could have known because it really took experience and new knowledge to really understand all of this, would be sensory processing differences and how much of an impact sensory processing differences have on me day to day. Before I really understood sensory issues, I just thought that I had chronic headaches and chronic nausea because I didn't understand that things like lighting could have an impact on me. I didn't know that fluorescent lighting literally will give me a migraine within 5 or 6 hours, if not sooner. Um, I didn't understand that if I go outside and squint too long, like I knew it was painful, but I could get through the pain, but I didn't understand, the lasting impact that would have on my health, and what that was really doing to me, because I'd never heard of sensory processing differences or sensory processing disorder. I'd never heard of that before, so I had no idea. And since learning about how I have a lighting sensitivity, and then learning to protect my senses from lights that trigger and irritate them, has been really life changing because I very rarely have headaches now. I did have one recently and it was horrible. Um, and I also, I'm not nauseous hardly ever anymore now. And, a lot of times, like, doctors are trying to do things with foods, and it wasn't really a food thing, it was more of a neurological thing. So that wasn't really helping, like switching all these foods. Although there are some foods that really irritate my stomach. Gluten is one of them, and a few other things. Sugar really doesn't sit well with me. Um, but since I've started, taking care of my senses and really minding my sensory needs, just my health overall has just improved. I feel so much healthier. I feel so much better. Um, and I just wish I knew I could feel this healthy. Most of the time I sleep better, even. So my life is just better now that I understand sensory processing, and like if I'm gonna go into, instead of squinting in the light, I'm gonna wear shades that block the light. I understand now what sensory overload is, and I have experienced that usually. Like, for example, I had a migraine, and it was to the point where every sound I heard, or like anytime I like light in my eyes, Like I couldn't look at my phone screen for very long because it was just physically just so painful. And it was I at one point was like, am I dying? I am in so much pain. That is the most pain I've ever been in from that in my life. But I know, it was like too much input for my senses. So now it's like I know, okay, well, I just need to shut my senses down for a while. I need to stop letting anything else go in there and close my eyes and lay down and be in the dark and relax. And I know to soothe my senses. To help them relax that if something like that has been triggered. But I didn't know that for a long time. The same thing, with my stomach. I had when I would have a lot of stomach problems, I just kind of felt nauseous a lot, but it was just because I would get a little bit of, is it called vertigo? When you're kind of like you feel like everything's moving a little bit, everything's a little spinny, you'll feel a little dizzy. It makes you kind of like, I don't drink, but like when you're drunk and everything spins a little bit, and it makes you feel like you're gonna toss your cookies. That's why I don't drink. I get that really bad really quickly if I drink, so I just don't. But so when I'm worn out or when I'm really tired or I'm not well rested, um, I get that feeling, and it's kind of a sensory thing, and it can, if I'm feeling that way, uh, sounds can really make me nauseous, and I can get to the point where smells that don't normally bother me will make me really nauseous, and then my sensory system kind of gets heightened. uh, and I've noticed that that just kind of happens to me if I'm sick or not well rested. And so I've also learned the things that trigger me, and the things. That's the bus. Can you hear the bus? It's really loud. It's letting the air out. So I now know, the things that trigger, me, and the things that I need to avoid, and I'm able to take better care of myself. So I wish I knew all of that. Um, but I couldn't learn it until I had the new lens, and I had, the terms, and I had like researched and understood sensory processing and just sensory overload. Uh, but so I guess that would be something that I would encourage people who are newly discovered to look into and to understand just how that affects them. Because just understanding that and having that information has been really life changing and very empowering for me. So anyway, guys, that's just my thoughts, and my thing I wish I had known on the beginning of my discovery journey long ago. And if you have your own comments, what do you wish you had known? Just starting out, let me know in the thread below, because I'm really loving this conversation. We can keep this going, and if you want to check it out, if you're on Twitter, I'll put a link to that as well. Thank you guys. Anyway, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.